Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about the abandoned Myrtle Avenue subway station. Not that one, this one! Located at the intersection of Myrtle Avenue and Broadway in Brooklyn, the M train and the J train have a station here, and then up above there is an abandoned elevated platform that not a lot of people talk about. We're going to go take a look in a second. Before we do, let me explain the complexity here. The J train runs straight all the way out into Jamaica, and the M train, as you can see here, it comes up to the junction and it diverts, and it goes through a connector that leads to the remaining active portion of the Myrtle Avenue elevated that runs up towards Middle Village. While creative scheduling keeps the trains from getting too delayed and waiting around, there's also the problem of this just impeding capacity on both lines. If you pay enough attention, you'll notice every train set has been graffiti bombed at some point. I don't recommend hanging out here for too long, and I don't recommend going downstairs because this is one really unhinged intersection.
This isn't a subway station. It's the Bermuda Triangle of Brooklyn, the Bangladesh of Bushwick, the Sistine Chapel of Poor Life Choices. In other words, it's a goddamn mess.
Don't go downstairs, stay upstairs, and in a second we're gonna go even further up. It's a really interesting junction. Here you can see the tail end of an M train going up around the block, and it connects to the old elevated. And this train is heading up to Middle Village, and if you look close, you can see it rejoining the elevated there. So what's between here and there is an abandoned section of elevated line that used to run to downtown Brooklyn. The former MJ route ran all the way down from Broadway, around the corner here, passing just south of the Navy Yard, 2.5 miles to downtown Brooklyn. And that wasn't even the original terminal. Before 1944, the route, represented by this red line, used to go over the Brooklyn Bridge. How wild is that? At this west end of the line, there was not a solid connection to the AC or F line or the BDNRQ lines running up Atlantic Avenue. This was a huge missed connection, and it's part of the reason why this route failed. There was a station right there on the BMT line, right under Flatbush Avenue, right next to Myrtle Avenue. And for some reason, they never built a connection between this station, which was abandoned in 1956, and the elevated above. A connection here would have made this underground station, as well as the entire elevated line, significantly more useful and way more important and less likely for them both to have been closed. Service ended on October 4th, 1969, and the elevated structure was quickly torn down right immediately afterwards. The old Myrtle Avenue line was referred to as the MJ line, or it was also called the Old Myrt by old-timers. After the elevated was pulled down, it was replaced by the B-54 bus, and that bus still remains in service today, running straight down Myrtle Avenue. The only portion of the original Myrtle Avenue line left in place is the line up to Middle Village, and this abandoned section, starting from the junction over there, heading all the way down 1 block south of Broadway. So let's go check it out. Up, up, up. A set of stairs leads you up here, where you can look down at the rest of the platform, further out into Brooklyn, and then you can look northbound towards Middle Village. You can see the tracks have been removed, and then looking a little bit south, you see Liberate Chickens! Dude needs to shut up. Cool, let's take a look facing west. What's up, bird? It's actually a little easier to talk about this place without all the video background noise. The station up here is an island platform. Here's the Middle Village bound track. It's a trackway. There's no track in place anymore. It was ripped out in the 60s. There's a fake owl up here to scare away the pigeons. What do you think we should call him? Comment below with your great name for him. Looking southwest is the Middle Village bound track again, looking towards downtown Brooklyn. You can see that they left the ironwork in place, no track, and they didn't put any kind of structure for actually walking or doing anything over there. On the downtown side, you've got a mirror image, same ironwork. It's also blocked off with plywood, which is hella janky, but that's what they did. Dead in the center of the platform is this signal relay room. The MTA put in a lot of these in the 80s and 90s, and this took up the vast majority of the island platform space. They were never lengthened, so they could only fit 6 cars. Inside of the room, you'll typically find signal relays, you'll find schematics, things of that nature. These rooms are usually highly secured with keypads, and you'll often find them along BMT and IND outdoor elevated lines. And at this exact location, there used to be a former switching tower. It was there until the early 2000s. Unfortunately, I never got into it. By the end, it was a beat-up, broken-out wreck. And as you can see in this historic photo, it had a great view of the entire junction. My friends, is the abandoned elevated Myrtle Avenue station. I talked very briefly about the subterranean Myrtle Avenue station that's abandoned. If you want to see a video on that or more subway things, you need to comment and like and subscribe and do all of that other stuff. If you really like abandoned Brooklyn things, I got a book for that, Brooklyn Navy Yard. Beyond the Wall, you get to see a lot of abandoned structures inside the Brooklyn Navy Yard. If you really like abandoned trains, I got books on top of books about the abandoned trains all over the United States. Yeah, so with all of that said, if you really like subway things, I haven't done a lot of subway things on this channel. I might do more if you like and subscribe, and particularly if you sign up for the newsletter, you're going to find out some really interesting, cool things that have gotten in the works, subway related. So yeah, you really want to get in on the inside scoop on that. I am not messing with you. So that's what's happening. That's the lowdown. I hope you enjoyed this video. I got stuff to do. You got stuff to do. I'll catch you next time. Go. It's nice. Go. Also, when you're here, if you see a cat in one of those windows, tell it I said, psst, 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 here, kitty, 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 kitty. And also, shout out to you crazy guys climbing under this abandoned elevated station, climbing on top of that little mezzanine building over there, wilding out painting. Y'all are nuts.
Popeyes, next to a Checkers, next to a damn Dunkin'. 3 portals to 3 different hells.